Chapter 8, Quiz Review. The review can be found on Google Classroom using Kami. Number 1, it says complete the function table at the right. So in a function table, we have our input, our output, and of course our rule. So to solve and find the output, I take my input, which is my variable x, and take the x out of my rule and put in this value. So I take out the x, I put in 6. 6 plus 5 is 11. That's what comes out of the output machine. If I have an 8 as my x variable, x comes out, 8 is inputted instead. I add 5. 8 plus 5 is 13. 10, if x is 10, I take out my x variable. 10 plus 5 is 15. In questions number 2, we have to use words and symbols to describe the value of each term as a function of its position. So in other words, what's the rule? Then we have to find the 9th term in each sequence. So when I look at example 2, 1 to 8, I know I can either add 7, 1 plus 7 is 8, or I can multiply by 8. So let's check the next one. 2 plus 7 is that 16? No. 2 plus 7 is 9, so I know 7 plus 7 is not right. Is 2 times 8 16? Yes, that is right. I check the next one. Is 3 times 8 24? Yes. Is 4 times 8 32? Yes. So I know my rule is times 8. You can use that, or you can use times 8. Now we have to find the 9th term in each sequence. So if I have a 9 here, 9 times 8 would be 72. But then with our n value, that's our variable. So how can I find the value of n, which can be any number? Well, I know my rule is multiply by 8, so all I have to do is multiply n by 8, and I write that as 8n. So a couple of things that you have to do on these types of problems. If I look at number 3, I'm going from 3 to 1, so that means either I'm subtracting 2 or I'm dividing by 3. So if I look at the next one, 4 divided by 3 is not 2. So I know divide by 3 does not work. 4 minus 2 is 2. 5 minus 2 is 3. 6 minus 2 is 4. So my rule is minus 2, or I can write subtract 2. Then I need to find the 9th number again. So I have 9 up here. If 9 is my x, my position up here, 9 minus 2 is 7. And then if I have n as my variable, to find the value of the term, I simply subtract 2 from n, so n minus 2. So here on 3 and 4, we want to write an equation to represent each function. So first we need to know what the rule is. So rule 0 to 0, that's either adding 0 or multiplying by something. So I can't really tell. So let's try 1. 1 to 9. So I'm either adding 8, 1 plus 8 is 9, or I multiply by 9. Is 2 plus 8 18? No. 2 plus 8 is 10. So I know add 10 or add 8 is not going to work. So is 2 times 9 18? Yes. 3 times 9 27? Yes. So to write my rule is 9 times x. To make that an equation, I simply have to put an equals y. It has to equal the output. On number 4, I have x is 1, y is 13. So again, it could be add 12, or it could be multiply by 13. Is 2 plus 12 26? No. 2 plus 12 is 14, so that rule doesn't work. Is 2 times 13 26? Yes. 3 times 13 39? Yes. 4 times 13 52? Yes. So therefore my rule is 13 times x. To make it an equation, I have to have the equals y. I've got to have the output. Those are your equations. On numbers, you're going to use the following information for exercise 6 through 9. It says sports. In a football game, each team earns 3 points for each field goal it scores. So each field goal is 3 points. So write an equation to find y, the total number of points for scoring field goals. So y is my equal. That's my total. So how do I find out how many field goals? Well, I know that field goals would have to be a variable because I don't know how many field goals they're asking me to find. But I do know each one is worth 3 points. So I know if I have 3 and I multiply that by a variable such as x being the number of field goals, I can find the total number of points, which is y. So there's my equation. 3 points, 3 times x, the number of field goals, equals y, the total number of points. So number 7 says to make a table to show the relationship between the number of touchdowns scored and, so we're going to change this. This is the number of field goals scored, x, and the total points, y, for 1, 2, and 3 field goals. So here, this is field goals. Sorry. So I know if 1 field goal is worth 3 points, 2 field goals would be 3 plus 3, which is 6, and 3 field goals would be 3 plus 3 plus 3, which is 9. So again, number 8 says it wants me to graph the ordered pairs. So here's my ordered pairs from the last page for last question. So I'm going to write ordered pairs x to y. My field goals are my x value, my points are my y. So to write my ordered pairs, x is always first and then y. So my x would be 1, my points would be 3. If I had 2 field goals, 2, 6. And if I had 3 field goals, that would be 3, then those would be worth 9 points. So now I want to graph my data. So to graph, I start at 0. So here's 0. So to graph 1, 3, x tells me I move to the right, 1. My y value tells me I go up 3. So I start at 0. I go over to 1, up 3, and I put my point. Notice that we're counting by 3s. So I don't have to go up to the third line. I'm looking at the 3. The second ordered pair is 2, 6. So I go over to the right 2 and up to 6. So starting at 0, I go over to 2 and up to the value of 6. 3, 9, same thing. 3 to the right, up 9. So start at 0. 1, 2, 3 to the right. 1, 2, 3 is here for 9. So then it asks how many points will a team earn if they score 6 field goals. If I think back to my equation on number 6, which is 3x equals y, where x equals the field goals, if I score 6, I'm going to take out my variable and put in 6. So I would have 3 times 6 equals y. 3 times 6 is 18 equals y, and that would be 18 points equals y. Please, I hope you wrote down all the examples from this quiz review. Your sheet can be found on Kami. You may use them for the quiz on Wednesday. Also, please go back and make sure that all your homework is completed by April 2nd before the Easter and long weekend. If you have any questions, please don't forget to email me at brian.cutsforth@atomoschools.com, and I will reply to help you out.